At the Roar Zone in Marietta, very, very cool show for you today. I didn't serve, but a huge fan. I'm going to say a fan of our armed forces. Without men, women, and canines that protect our freedom, there's a lot of people out there that would love to take that freedom. So, right off the bat, thank you, my man. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. We have the founder of Active Valor. We're going to explain what that is. It's all about supporting the veterans. But Perry Yee, right?
Yep.
Is a former Navy SEAL.
Yes, sir.
And what we do here on Monster Motivator TV, right, is we take them behind that black curtain.
Yep.
So we want to share with them, with everyone, who you are, where you came from, where you're at today, and where you see yourself going, you know, with your organization. But I know a lot of people, as soon as I say Navy SEAL, man, they want to know, which I'm sure you run into a lot,
all the time,
right?
Yeah.
Because it's it's something that a lot of people really look up to, and it's something that obviously I'm sure you're very proud of, because it's a huge accomplishment. So
absolutely,
that's big time, man. That's big time. So share with everyone where this all started. Where are you from?
So I'm actually from New Hampshire.
Okay.
So
East Coast.
East Coast.
Right. East Coast in the house.
And I was born in New York.
What part?
Greenwich Village.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So my parents divorced when I was really young, and my mom was from Massachusetts originally. So we
went back
moved up to New Hampshire. Later down the road, my mom remarried when I was about 9. Awesome guy, took me in. And,
oh yeah.
And, treated me like his own since day one. So I'm really fortunate to get that father figure into my life.
Yeah. Was he military?
He wasn't. No, actually, I didn't have any military in my family, really.
Oh.
So I didn't even have intentions of joining. I don't have that story where I wanted to be the SEAL from the age of 5.
Rambo.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't have that. For me, it was after high school. I went to college for a year. School wasn't my thing.
Were you an athlete?
I was an athlete. I was never like a star athlete at anything. I played a lot of sports growing up, but school just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
So,
me neither.
I was just a terrible student. I didn't apply myself.
That's
school.
interesting because, and we'll get into this, but being a Navy SEAL,
right?
I mean, you have to, be
you gotta go all in,
right? I mean, it's not just physical.
Right. But so for me, I came to that crossroads where it was like I didn't know what to do with my future. I wasn't pursuing school anymore. For me, it was like, okay, military is my only other option. So once I started looking into recruiters, and actually one of my best friends from high school had joined the Navy. Okay. And I was just talking to him a little bit about his experience. I mean, he enjoyed what he did in the service. So I went to the Navy recruiter. And I basically went to every branch and just wanted to know what the hardest thing that they had to offer. I kind of felt like I had to prove something to myself.
Where do you think that came from?
I'm not too sure. I was a pretty shy kid, quiet kid growing up, and I think for me it was more personal. I had to, kind of see what I was made of. You
got to a point, right, where you're kind of like manning up.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't think I did it like for anybody else really. And, I felt like it was something that I had to do for me, and I wasn't going to have the college life and everything. So I wanted to be able to have experiences that other people weren't going to have.
So did you go back and forth like as Marines, Army, Navy?
Yeah, I actually was looking at Army first.
Yeah,
I was looking at Rangers first, and after doing research and hearing a lot about BUDS training, which is the first part of SEAL training,
right?
It was kind of a no-brainer for me.
Was it? What was it though that grabbed you?
The difficulty, knowing that there's about an 85% dropout rate, and for what it meant to be a SEAL.
Talk about that. Give a little overview of the BUDS training for people that don't know.
So, I'm sure many people have seen the movies, the TV shows. I mean, even Discovery Channel had a series, I think a 6-part series, where they covered one specific class throughout their whole training. But man, even after all my research, I didn't even know really what I was getting into until I was there. I mean, I knew it was miserable. I knew it was very physically demanding, very mentally challenging as well. And in my opinion, physically, anybody can do it. I knew a lot of the kids that I went through training with that were professional athletes, and it's definitely easier. I mean, you're going to make it a little easier on yourself if you are more physically prepared. Sure. But I mean, physically, anybody can do it. I mean, they're gonna break you down and build you up the way they need you to be, regardless. It'll be a little harder for you if you're not as capable or not used to it.
And if you're not in shape.
Right.
Yeah.
But where it stands out is the mental game. You have to really be comfortable being cold, wet, and sandy for 6 months straight, which it's miserable.
That's how long it is?
Buds is, I want to say, about 7 months. So the first part is, it's called in-doc, where they kind of show you the ropes, show you what you're going to be doing once you actually phase up with your class. So in-doc was 3 weeks, and then you start first phase. You have first phase, second phase, third phase. First phase is the weeding out process, and it's very physically demanding. It's when you're challenged a lot.
And
people are screaming in your face.
Well.
Exactly. So the fourth week of first phase is Hell Week. Okay. So basically the first 3 weeks of first phase is the worst time of your life, and then Hell Week is even worse than that.
Now, in those 4 weeks, how many times did you say, you know what, this ain't for me?
I mean, I'll be honest. Definitely a couple times.
Of course, that's what I mean.
I definitely thought about it, and then
human.
For me, it's like we had to weigh out, like, all right, if I quit, what's on the other side?
Right.
You're still part of the Navy, so you have to go to the fleet. And one of the biggest motivators for me was every Monday you do a 4-mile timed run, and it's like 4 or 5 in the morning. So you're standing on the beach waiting for the instructor. It's dark out, and just looking out at the water, and there was a ship out to sea, and standing there just being like, I don't want to be on that. Right. I don't think I could ever live on a ship in those quarters. That was a big motivator for me. Was not going to the fleet.
Wow.
But I mean, it's different for everybody.
You always got to identify your why, right?
Exactly.
Now, did you train at Coronado?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, all of SEAL training is in Coronado. At least all the buds really. Okay. So I mean, I had to go through regular Navy boot camp, 9 weeks of boot camp in Illinois. And then I had my ACE goal to get my rating. After that, I went to a little, it's called pre-buds now, where they actually send students there. I think it's an 8-week program where they kind of prepare them physically before they send them out to buds. It was called something different back when I went, and I was actually there for about 7 months. Just training. I mean, actually, I got...
Before you even went?
Exactly. So
how much do you think that helped you?
Tremendously. Yeah, it helped me out a lot. I mean, it built all of us up physically, and we got our asses kicked there. Actually, I had no lie. I got worse beatings from the instructors during that program than I did at buds.
Really?
Oh yeah, some of our instructors were sadistic. Like great guys, and they wanted to prepare us.
And that pre-one, right?
Yeah.
What was the percentage of the dropout there?
It was low.
Oh,
yeah, it was very low there.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was higher in the second phase.
So once you actually go to buds, I mean, because then you're there. And, mentally, it's like I'm not at buds. I mean, yeah, these meetings suck, but people push through it. I mean, that's when the mental game started. I mean, you're in San Diego. You're actually at the center. You're doing this for real now, and I mean, I think that's what takes over for a lot of people is just that mental aspect of it, kicking the balls every day.
It's like you said, it's miserable. It's miserable.
Yeah, but the cool thing is you meet some of the greatest people you ever know going through in your class. So for me, I was actually in 3 classes because I got 2 medical injury roles. With my first class, I started with class 259 early 2006, and I made it to Hell Week, and then halfway through Hell Week, I got injured. I got nerve damage. My entire left arm went dead. Not even numb, it went dead.
What happened?
For about 3 months.
Really?
And so that they had to roll me back, actually. So I was in 259, I skipped a class, and then I started over. You're not quite far enough, so I actually had to start over from the very beginning.
So you did 2 Hell Weeks.
3 Hell Weeks. 3 Hell Weeks. So I classed up again with 261. Made it to Hawaii again. Got pneumonia.
Does life have a sixth sense of humor or what?
It does, yeah. I was actually, to be completely honest, I was actually surprised they kept me around after a second medical role. And I was very surprised.
So they could have said, you know,
yeah,
what?
yeah. They
Why do you think? What do you think happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, the cool thing was so the first time I got rolled, I told you it was for about 3.5 months. My arm was completely dead. I couldn't. You could sit there and stab it. Couldn't feel it.
Did they have to do surgery or
no? So they it's common.
Oh.
With every class, it doesn't happen to a lot of people, but I'm pretty sure it happens to like 1 or 2 kids
familiar.
almost every class.
Wow.
So the doc actually told me that feeling would come back. It could be a month, could be a year. So they didn't know how to gauge it. So basically, I just waited it out.
Is it from all the swimming?
No, so it was from running with the boats on your head. So you do a lot of running. I'm sure you guys have seen it. You got the wraps on your head, and I think it was all the motion of that. And it started up here and went all the way down. I did start getting numb at first, and it slowly just took over. And it was completely
So they pulled you. You went through that, came back, got pneumonia.
Yeah.
They pull you again, right? And then
started over. All over. Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: when you went back the third time, the first day, what was your mindset?
It was tough. I mean, emotionally, it was tough. Probably the hardest time of your life.
And this is your third time
doing it. I mean, mainly because you build relationships as well, and then you see your class move on.
Kind of lose
that was
your
tough.
family.
But at the same time, I also still had their support. You know, I mean, I still had a lot of friends in the previous classes, so. Yeah, I had the support there, which was nice.
It must have been an amazing feeling, though, getting through the 4th week.
It
must have been like. How many times you check the calendar, right?
Honestly, when we got secured from Hell Week, I was balling. I mean, it was
really?
that was one of the biggest milestones of my life because that broke me twice.
Right.
And it was make it or break it. I mean, there's no way that I was going to get rolled again.
A fourth time.
There's no way that was going to happen.
Let me ask you this, though. The other 2 times, did you ever feel that coming back?
I still do.
Oh.
Not from the training. The only time when I feel it come back is if I'm wearing like a tight backpack. Anything with straps. I can start to
restrict.
I can start to feel it, and I'll feel the tingle happen a little bit, and then I'll know to kind of take it off, give it a minute to shake it out, and it's fine. But it's still there.
When did you sign up? 2005?
Yeah, January 2005.
And how long were you in?
6 years.
It was wartime.
Yes.
So you got sent out, or
yes.
You did
so
tours?
after once all the training was over, I got attached to SEAL Team 7 here in Coronado still. So I decided to stay on the West Coast.
Okay.
Normally, when you're graduating training, you can kind of take your pick on what coast you want, and it'll all depend on the needs of the Navy, like where they need you. But for my class specifically, we were actually pretty much dead even. Like half the class wanted to go East Coast, half the class wanted to stay West Coast. So I went to Team 7. We deployed to Afghanistan in 2009.
And 2009, right? Well, that was hot. I mean, things were really popping.
It was. We did a lot of work.
Iraq was slowing down,
yeah.
Afghanistan. I remember because I had a sports nutrition store in Vista. I used to do free seminars on base, and so I got really tight with a lot of Marines, and I know Afghanistan was.
So it's funny that you mentioned that because we were scheduled to go to Iraq. We were scheduled to go to Basra. We got pulled and stayed stateside for about an extra month. So because we last minute found out that my platoon and one other platoon
we were going to be
going to Afghanistan.
Okay.
So actually the rest of the team deployed to Iraq, and my platoon and one other platoon we had to stay back, do a little mountaineer training and everything because we were going to Afghanistan.
Wow.
So it was I was extremely fortunate for me for my first time deploying, and I got to see a lot of combat. Got to see what it's like in a total different area.
Like you said about the budge training, right? You could read it. You could read about it. You could watch the movies.
Right.
You could talk to all the vets. But until you actually experienced it, right? You couldn't.
You can't explain it. Like I'll never be able to do it justice.
And you couldn't ever be ready for it, right? Would that be the same thing going into your first tour?
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. For your first one, definitely. I mean, I'd never been overseas before. I mean, you can train and train and train, but until you're there, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, it was definitely it was scary. You know, it was nerve wracking, but I was with a lot of great guys. They prepared us for it, and you know, we did a lot of good work, which is awesome. You know, I mean, very proud.
And at one time, how long were you there? Like 9 months?
No, we were there for 6 months.
6 months,
Yep.
and then you come back.
Yep.
And then how many times did they send you back out?
I only deployed once.
Okay.
Yep.
So
normally it's about a 2-year cycle. So
Oh.
when you get to the team, you spend 18 months with training, whether that's going to different schools to get different qualifications, or it's you're doing your actual platoon training where you're getting ready to deploy. And so it's about 18 months of training and then a 6-month deployment. So that's the common
and
rotation.
if you stayed, right, and they
Yep.
needed you, they just send you back out. To
Yep.
another,
So yeah, you
another
just do
tour.
another.
Yeah, because I remember listening to Jocko Willink on his podcast, and I forget what parts of the world, but the first tour he did, and whatever it was, the first one that they had him in, they just, you know, he said they came in and just took over, and they came back. So their thought process was, wow, this is war. We just, you know, did the biggest guy on the block, right? We just crushed them.
Yeah.
And then they sent them out either it was the second or the third time, and then they got into real battle, and they were like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You never know what's going to be. You can have as much intel as you can get. Sometimes it's good intel, sometimes it's bad, but I mean, you never know what's going to happen. I mean, that's why you have to be prepared for absolutely anything. That's why training is so extensive. I mean, you're in a life and death situation from the second you touch down there until you leave.
And because you're in an elite, you know, you're a SEAL, or if you're Force Recon, or you're, you know, a specialty, right? They were also talking about, you know, you guys get the best of the best, you know, when it comes to training, when it comes to everything, because you guys are elite. Yeah. How did it feel coming back after that 6-month tour?
One, I think the biggest thing, it was like, you know, you're coming home. So that alone, that feeling alone, I made it, yeah.
And I got all my limits,
right?
right?
Yeah, you made it. You know, fortunately for us, I mean, we made it back with everybody. We're very fortunate, and we've spent, I want to say, a week or two in Germany on the way back, because you have to go through a little detox and kind of. Kind of get unwind and get out of the war zone mentality.
Break.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it didn't really hit me until we actually touched down in the States, and then it's, you know, you're back with your families and your friends and wives, girlfriends, or your kids,
and you're back in freedom.
Yeah, right.
You're back in freedom.
And it's weird. I watched one of the weirdest things to do was to drive. Like,
really?
Yeah, because I mean, you spent 6 months over there, not driving a car. I mean, for me, I drove like some ATVs and stuff, but it's
God, you wouldn't even think
driving
that.
a car.
You don't even think those little things.
Yeah. The first time I sat in, I was like, this is weird. Like just being behind the steering wheel again. You know,
feels foreign. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about what you got going on and what you founded in 2016. Active Valor, right? You don't know me from Adam. We're in an elevator. Give me that pitch. What is it?
The elevator pitch. So yeah, we'll get into the background in a second. But what we do is we're a veteran transitioning program, an organization. So what we do is we focus on the veterans who have that lost sense of service, and we want to be able to show them that their skill sets, their service is still needed in this country.
And means something.
Exactly. Right. Regardless if they wear the uniform or not anymore, there's still people in this country that need their assistance. So we actually have that dual purpose mission to where we want to help the veterans with that therapeutic experience, getting their inspiration back, getting their motivation back. But on the other hand, we're putting them into the community where they're helping other people. So we want to give to both aspects. We started it based off my own personal experiences. So when I got out in 2011, so it's been like 6 years now,
wow.
Which flies by.
Don't blink your eye.
Flies by. But when I got out, the biggest mistake I did is I didn't really have a plan. And I was like, I'll go back to school. So I did that. I started using the GI Bill. Went back to school, and then rememed, hey, this is why I left. Right? So,
what made you get out?
You know what? It wasn't for me anymore.
Okay.
There's a lot of changes going on, and
feel like you've been there, done it, and now it's time to move on.
It's time to move on. My services were needed elsewhere.
Okay.
And, which, the funny thing is I didn't know that yet.
Yeah.
And so I battled really hard with, I bounced around with a couple jobs. I was working for a marathon company at first, and I was setting up races, and nothing special. From there, I went to a gun range, and then I didn't have that fulfilling feeling anymore. I wasn't doing anything purposeful.
Yeah.
And so what we did is, with Active Valor, it's like, what were my struggles? And actually, one of the biggest things that helped me was where we met at Clever Talks.
Yeah.
So Chris Soriano reached out to me. I did a speech back in 2015. And when I was putting my speech together, that was the first time I actually sat down and had to look at my situation and
analyze.
Exactly.
Right? Audit
exactly.
What's going on?
And
and what did you come up with?
So that's kind of what inspired me. And actually, Chris and I we became really good friends, and I absolutely love what he's doing with his organization as well. And so, it was very motivating and inspirational for me.
With the Canine.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things that we kind of put together with the company. Yeah, so it was like, what can I do to get back? And so we tossed around the idea a bit, and it took us a while to kind of figure out, to pinpoint exactly what we wanted to do. And it's like, we wanted to help the veteran community, because they're, again, the people that serve this country and get out, and there's a huge percentage that are lost. They battle with depression, stress, anxiety, PTSD. I battled very hard with all those when I got out.
Did you?
And we wanted a way to either prevent it for those who are recently transitioning, or to help those already
get through
all those struggles
and figure it out.
So that's where we came up with the mission, to where we want to help veterans in 3 different areas: mentally, emotionally, and physically. Mentally, we started a Canine program. So that's with a friend of mine, John Devine.
He was supposed to be here, right?
Yeah, he couldn't make it. He'd love to be here, though. So John Devine from Divine Canines.
And that's how we met.
Exactly.
Right.
So we were at the Clever Talks thing.
Right.
And quick backstory on John: he was a former Navy SEAL as well. He was a dog handler in the teams for a couple years before he got out. So he got out and he started his business, where he trains personal protection dogs for families. Master at his craft. He's very, very awesome at what he does.
Passion is there. Yeah.
And so for him and I, both, we have a huge love for dogs. For me, when I got out, one of the biggest things that helped me was I got a dog. That was one of the first things I did.
Right.
I got a dog. I got a little husky puppy.
Yeah.
And so he was a little 7-week-old puppy when I got him. He's 6 now. And but man, the things that they do for you, it's unless you've experienced it again, it's something that you can never really.
And I say this all the time, because obviously you know how much I love dogs. I say this all the time. I actually feel bad for people that don't feel that connection. They're missing. There's a disconnect to nature, because they literally, it's completely unconditional love.
Absolutely.
Every morning's Christmas morning.
Absolutely.
What were some of the things that what's your dog's name?
Dexter.
That Dexter helped you with?
So one, the companionship alone. Like I said, I'm from New Hampshire. My entire family's still back east. So I got out, and I didn't really, I didn't have that support system anymore.
You're by yourself.
From the military, you got structure, you got support, you got responsibility, you have a steady paycheck, everything you need. And one thing that the military is very lacking of is their transition. It's when you leave, it's a handshake. Thanks for your service.
Right.
Don't let the door hit
and
you
especially at wartime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So he helps you with.
So you got companionship. You got responsibility, which is a big thing. It's like you're caring for another life. It's another human being. Yeah. But one of the biggest things he did for me. So I lived in a condo complex down in East Lake, so down in Chula Vista, and I had lived in that complex for about a year and never met a single neighbor. I would literally go days without seeing a human being. shelter myself in my little own bubble, which is super unhealthy.
Yeah.
But a lot of veterans do that. When I got Dexter, it forced me to leave my house. I had to go take him out for a walk. And so
You had to interact.
I had to interact with people. And it's funny because one of my neighbors I met, I met him with his dogs. And so people thought, like, oh, yeah, did you just move in? It's like, I've been here for a year.
Right.
But actually, I started to make some friendships in the community. And
wow. So he got you out of your
He got me out of my funk, out of my
bubble,
my safe
like you were
space.
saying,
Call it
your
now,
bubble, right?
Yeah. And that's one thing that when John and I were putting this together, that's one of the biggest aspects. Is like, you know what, like we want to share that feeling that we had and have still with other people. Like you said, like people that don't have dogs or really know that bond or friendship yet. They're missing out. So what we developed was a training program, basically. So it's completely free to all veterans. Okay. So and how it works is you can look it up online. You can go to our website, and there's a little section that says Canine Outreach. And so everyone that signs up, we just need to know, are you a veteran? If you have your own dog, perfect. I mean, that's great because you already have that bond built. If you don't have a dog, our trainer sits with you personally, lets you figure out what breed would be best for your lifestyle. And then we have some shelters that we can hook them up with.
Awesome.
So far, everyone that's come to us has already have their dogs already.
But you still have those resources.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
So it's great because John was a behavioral specialist, and what we like to do is, we like to teach people the basic skills. Home obedience, off leash, on leash, and any issues that they might have around the home. So on one hand, it's great because they get this free training. John donates his time to us.
Wow.
But on the other hand, is we are building a community. We want to get people out of their homes. One, they get to be around other veterans, people that have gone through the same struggles, people that are still going through the same struggles. They're outside. They get to see the sun. They get to be outside in the fresh air. They get to be around a whole bunch of dogs and just have a good time. So it's great. Like the training part is really just a minuscule part of it. Like the overall goal is having that support system to where they can kind of create their own environment again. They can be back and they can create that camaraderie and the brotherhood again that they had while they're active.
And you're giving them a quality of life back. That's the key. You were living, right? But you were in your bubble, right? And then I guess it really comes down to what's your definition of living, right? So you're giving or helping them find their quality of life back, which is, listen, that's the ultimate. And giving an opportunity, because you are going to eventually have people that don't have dogs. So you're going to be able to also give a quality of life to a canine.
Right.
And to me, that's the best.
So we also offer it to active duty service members who are currently transitioning. Okay. So if they're within their last 6 months of service, they're accepted into the program as well. Because now if we can help prevent that hard transition, that's even better.
That's awesome. I love it. So Active Valor, give us some great bullet points.
So it's funny. So behind every great man is a great woman, and so my girlfriend is the co-founder. I'm totally honest. I love giving her the credit because she's the brains behind a lot of this. Not only that, but
is she a vet?
She's not.
Okay.
So she has a huge heart for the veteran community, the military community. Even back when she was a little girl, she was putting together care packages and sending them overseas.
Just in her DNA.
Yeah, she was raised right. Yeah. But she's very creative, and not only that, but she's done all of our designing, our website, all of our graphics. She's been phenomenal. Her and I we're a great team. We bounce ideas off each other very well. We work really well together. The name Active Valor. We want to focus on the word active. We want to be actively pursuing the community, actively helping out all aspects of the community, veteran or not. But we also want to help these veterans become more active in their own lives, whether it is again active helping out the community, or we're putting together a fitness program as well for wounded veterans. So literally get them active again, and that's where we want to help them physically. So that's the next column. And then Valor is for the bravery of the men and women who have served.
What's coming up for Active Valor?
we do is we have a program to where we have a series of events where they can participate in and get back to the community. Our first solo event that we're doing is in September, so September 23rd, and it's called Valor Adventures. So what we're doing is we are focusing on the Gold Star community. So Gold Star families are families who have lost somebody overseas in combat. So what we're doing is we're pairing a veteran with a Gold Star child, and we're going to go up into the mountains. We're looking at Laguna Mountain right now, and the vets are going to run them through a little land navigation course, and then all the pairs break off, and then they do their own little adventure hike and treasure hunt. So it's a day where, again, with the dual mission, it's a day for the veterans where they get to spend time using their skill sets and being able to teach, a young kid, be able to spend that time and create that bonding.
Yeah.
And then for the kid, they get to have a day where they get to spend time with someone who walked in the shoes of their loved one.
Right.
And
that's awesome.
And then hopefully they can keep those
Great
relationships
idea.
and as they grow. It was a team effort.
Yeah.
It was a team effort.
That's an awesome idea, man.
But each kid is going to get a little tactical backpack with all the things that they're going to need throughout the day, like little e-tools and
how cool is that,
and
man?
everything like that.
So now this will be your first one?
Our first solo event. And we've teamed up with some other organizations, and we've also helped out with some other ones. But we wanted to make our first one very impactful. So September 24th is Gold Star Family Day. Okay. So we wanted to hold it September 23rd, which is the Saturday before.
Now, how do you pick the families?
So going through the Gold Star Foundation. So it was a little difficult,
but you got
finding the right connections. It was great, actually. The first person I talked to, I believe that was in Washington, and they connected me with the Southern California regional manager. So when it comes to events like that, we want to be able to hold different events like that about 4 to 5 times a year.
How many kids are you expecting, and then how many?
About 50,
you're going to match the
15 to 20 kids.
Okay.
And they're also going to be with, they can have a guest of their choice. So whether it's a parent or an older sibling, a friend, we're looking at the 8 to 18 age range.
Yeah.
So they can have somebody with them as well.
Another great idea, man. Yeah, especially a little kid, right, that feels more comfortable.
Right, exactly.
Like that, man.
Yeah, we're really excited.
You going to have a kid?
It depends. If we have a lot of response from the veteran community that want to be a part of it, then I would love to be able to give that opportunity to somebody else. But then again, I would love to be a part of this,
right? Of course, that would be awesome, man.
It's going to be a whole day where they get to come, they get to have their meet and greet, they get to go through their lesson, they do their hike and treasure hunt, they come back. It's catered. They get to spend a couple hours, have lunch. And so it's going to be a full day event.
Give me a really fulfilling story since you've opened your doors. You have anything that really, when you step back and you're like, wow.
So one of the great privileges that we got is there's another nonprofit company called One Summit. They're based out in Boston. And what they do is they pair Navy SEALs with pediatric cancer patients. And what they do is they have a thing called the Climb for Courage, where they spend the day at an indoor rock climbing gym. Same mission, to where they're building that bond where the SEAL gets to work one-on-one with the kid. They get to either climb all day. There was definitely a variation of activity levels.
Yeah, of course.
They're all in different stages.
Yeah.
So some kids just wanted to hang out, just talk all day.
Just be there.
There were some kids that were just climbing all day long, and they came to San Diego a couple months ago.
So you got invited.
So I reached out to them, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun, and not only that, but I got to keep close contact with my buddy, and so we've actually seen him a couple times since. And
how old is he?
Really, to see what they're doing is very inspiring, because we share a lot of the same mission sets, and it's knowing that it works, knowing that people are actually making a difference in other people's lives.
Doing personal development, doing keynote speaking, and the monster motivator, and the breaking through the fear barriers and all that. People always ask, man, how do I get out of my funk? How do I get out? And I say it's simple, not always easy. You've got to get out of your bubble.
Yep.
And there's people, adults and kids, that are praying for your problems if you're willing to look.
Yep.
And what you just shared there is the best example of, not only is it had to be such an unbelievable feeling, fulfilling, but at the the same time, looking at these little kids, right, that are like the rock of the family and what they're going through, and you step back and you go, God damn, I'm embarrassed for what I was complaining about yesterday. Right?
That's a very good point.
Is that the truth?
It's absolutely.
You just can't help but feel good. Like holy shit.
It's the truth. I mean, even you think about anything you do throughout the day, like I hold the door open for somebody and you can see that they actually appreciate it. You feel good about yourself.
And I'm a big believer that life is perception, right? You perceive, right, your reality. Mm-hmm. That is the reality of it. So I give to St. Jude. So St. Jude actually gives me updates. And you'll see like a little postcard, and you'll see this little girl, 12 years old, going through her second thing of chemo, and the parents are standing around, and you see this little girl is the rock of the family. The mom and dad are ready to crumble, right? And it was interesting. When I had my sports nutrition store, I used to keep those cards behind the counter, and I knew the ones that would come in, bitching and moaning, they hated their life, right? And they had really nothing to complain about. And I would say, man, talk to this little girl.
Right.
And some people, it would check them, and other people would make excuses, right? Yeah. But that, you know, what you're doing is so cool on so many levels because, God, man, there can't be a better feeling than you had that day.
Exactly.
I mean, does it get any better?
You want to inspire these vets.
Yes.
You want to empower the veterans to know that every single one of them can still make this impact.
Yes.
You know, just because they don't wear the uniform anymore, it does not mean that their service isn't still needed. And that's you talk to most people from the service, especially the ones that went in right after high school. You know, they don't have any other life experience before the military. In your minds, it's like, wow, I came from serving my country to now I am bagging groceries or something like that.
Yeah.
If they can even find a job.
Yeah.
There's so much pride involved as well. Nobody wants to be that person. For me, at least, you know, I didn't want to put people out. You know, I don't want to put my troubles on somebody else. So I'm just going to keep it all bottled up inside, which is, again,
I'll figure it out.
And the VA can just throw pills at you. Yeah. But this is a way where, you know, where you're not going to, this is going to be your self-medication.
It's the ultimate therapy. It's the ultimate therapy. The other thing I love that I just want to highlight too, and I don't want this to get lost, I believe that there's a lot of great organizations doing a lot of great things.
There is.
But
there is.
When you don't figure out a way to tie in physical with it, you're missing a big chunk of that. Yeah. I've been an athlete my whole life, wrestled since 4th grade, and I was horrible in school, right? D's and F's, never graduated high school. I couldn't concentrate, right? I was bored out of my mind with sports. Thank God for sports. Yeah. And still to this day, it's one of my non-negotiables, right? It's the first thing I do in the morning. And like you said, you might have different levels, but without incorporating the physical somehow, some way, I think you're missing a huge, huge chunk of this.
You are, because, I mean, honestly, you have, no matter how much you do for other people, you got to do something for yourself. And if you're not happy with yourself, and I was stuck there. I mean, you can ask a lot of my friends before, and that was like the most negative person. Yeah. Even like my times growing up, coming from a kid to even while I was active, and then especially when I was out, you know, everything sucked. Yeah. Well, I mean, everything sucked. And it took me, like you said, it took me to kind of figure out myself, like, what are my issues? You know, why am I so pissed off at life? And one of the biggest things that helped me, you know, and I'm not trying to push religion on anybody, but I
whatever works.
Yeah, I didn't have God in my life. I was a believer, but I wasn't active in my faith. Mm-hmm. And you know, once I started going, I'm part of an awesome church right now.
And there's a meaning for you, right? There's a purpose. It's not about the actual religion itself. It's about finding what works for you, right? And I always say, because I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. But I always say, if your religion makes you a better person, God bless you, right? The gym makes me a better person every day. It makes me a better person.
Well, that's where you go to let it all out. You know, you put it all out on the weights.
It's unbelievable. And people say, because I do little videos, right, on personal development, or whatever comes to mind, and it's almost always in my truck, in the parking lot, in the gym. Yeah, it's, people are like, how come you're always in the truck? Because I just left the gym. Yeah. My head's clear.
You're there.
You're
focused.
Yeah. And see, for me, it was almost taken away. I had a really bad motorcycle accident years ago and broke everything. I was in Vermont and broke everything on this side, punctured a lung. This was my helmet, stopped all that intensive care for 5 or 6 days, and almost lost everything. And I couldn't do anything for 4 months, and I was going out of my mind. Right. So when it's almost taken away, it's perspective. You know,
it really is. And honestly, I think everyone sometimes it might take that moment.
Yes,
it might take something like that.
Yes,
that says, you know what, like I'm going to choose not to live like this anymore.
Exactly.
And for you especially, like you had a very life-threatening situation. Moment. And I mean, from there on out, it's like, you know, time is limited.
And this could be taken away.
Exactly.
And that made me realize how important it was to me. So I will stay conscious the best I can. A lot of times I'm at the mall or at the gym or somewhere in a parking lot. I'll park far away just and walk to remind myself that I'm lucky enough to be able to do that, right? To do that. Yeah. And I think that, again, when you see that 12-year-old little kid, right, that wants to climb, they're in that time now with their cancer, that they're not able to, it's like, holy shit, like, that's the ultimate check in life to me.
I mean, in that moment as well, you know, it's like you guys are doing something together. Like, you both have challenges. So they're going to be on total different spectrum. But you're both facing challenges that is standing in your way, and you're going to have to find a way to push through or get over however you do it. But
I love it. And the other thing obviously we have in common is the animal connection. I just did a show at Patty Roberts' place, and she has the autistic kids come out to her horse sanctuary. And to watch these kids on the horse is just magical. It's absolutely magical. Is there anything that you want to mention or talk that I didn't bring up that you want to share?
Yeah, for all of the veterans who are listening, there's many ways to get involved. I mean, you can go on our website. It's www.activevalor.com. And whether it's the Canine program you want to get involved with, whether it's the Valor Adventures, something that you want to get involved with, or if you just want to reach out and talk and hang out with some other veterans, you know, please reach out to us. We are a nonprofit. We are a 501c3. So I mean, if there are people that
what do you need? Money?
Anything and everything.
What else can they donate?
I mean, there's supplies we need, especially for the event coming up in September.
Okay, so can you do this? When you jump back on, after we share it, can you post a list of things that you need, where you could use, where they can send it, all your information, because people do want to give back, and then you can guide them with that. So awesome, man. I love that. Anything else that you want to share?
Just my advice, and you know, again, living through a lot of these issues, being in a very, very dark place, you know, doing stupid shit, things that I regret doing, you know, things that I'm not proud of, being negative all the time, to who I am. I mean, I am a total different person, and I love it. Like, I'm so happy today, and it's the biggest reason I have for that is because I started surrounding myself with good people, and I'm a huge advocate. I mean, you know, I've made a lot of awesome friends at my church through the things we're doing with the veteran community. My girlfriend was huge. I mean, she's a total positive, happy person all the time, and it was super contagious. Her family's great. I mean, we've been together going on 3 years now, and like her family took me in, and I mean, her whole family, and but yeah, surround yourself with good people. You know, people that are going to support you, people that are going to be honest, you know, and be truthful. Let you know when you
keep it real.
You got to be checked,
right?
Yeah, you know, live for more. You know, that's the biggest thing that we want to push with Active Valor. And you know, our little slogan that we kind of coined is become the impact. And what that means is everyone that we've talked to, you know, wants to make a difference. They don't know how. And everyone wants, you know, they want to be inspiring. They want to be motivating. And for me, I was in that same boat. I'm like, yeah, I want to do good things, but it took myself to be able to physically and mentally make that decision. I had to actively be like, you know what, all right, how am I going to be the impact? I'm not going to wait for that something to come to me. I'm going to become what it is I need to be.
I love that.
We hope that we can, inspire other veterans to do the same thing, and just love our community. Find good people to do life with, and
love that, man. And with your experience, your background, and your resources, like you said, even if you're not sure about Active Valor, if you're not sure about the Canine, if you're not sure about whatever that is, but you just need to reach out.
Absolutely.
Just reach out, right? That's what you guys live for. This is your oxygen. And I love it, man. And again, if it wasn't for the men and women and the canines like you, we couldn't live the way we live. And that's the other thing I think that a lot of people take for granted, right? We don't know any different. And when you don't know any different, yeah.
No, and that's we see that a lot too. And,
but the majority of people that never served, I believe, know, and want to give back and want to support you and the men and women that did what you did and put your life on the line, man. So again, man, thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
We end the show the same way. So I'm a big believer, and I'm sure you are too. You can only be in one state of mind at a time. So if you're in victim state, at that moment, there's zero room for gratitude.
Yep.
Right?
And you lived choice.
And you lived it. Right? But if you're in that gratitude, unstoppable state, right? There's no room for victim at that moment. Right?
That's perfect.
And life always makes the rules. Unfortunately, me and you don't make the rules. That's why you went through it 3 times. Right? Life make the rules. And life right now is asking, if you could live your life purring like a kitten or roaring like a lion, would you do it? 100%, baby. So on 3, we're going to take this out monster motivator style. Ready? 1, 2, 3.